The divine is always flowing through us. Whether your ego agrees or doesn't agree with life moving forward, life is going to keep moving forward. The sun is going to keep coming up. It's going to keep going down, at least for now. Things are going to keep moving forward. Your life is going to keep progressing. And the divine intelligence is always working through everything and everyone at all times. The divine is something you can tap into to manifest your reality as well. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to trust the divine to manifest your reality into existence. Because the divine is this thing that some people find very confusing. They don't quite understand how to use this energy to tap themselves into the reality that they want. The divine has a lot of spiritual connotation, like this negative connotation attached to that word. Some people think it's a little bit too woo-woo. Some people think that it's a little bit too out there. But the truth is that if you can remove this story and this block to the divine, to the interconnectedness, to trust in the thing that runs your life, whether you see it or not, is something that you can use to manifest your reality into existence. And we're going to be talking about how to do that in this video. So we're going to be talking about how to trust the divine to manifest your reality into existence. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program, to work with me one-on-one personally. Also, I do have a group program coming up in the next couple of months, very soon. Enrollment is closing soon, so if you want to be a part of the program and if you want more details on the program, the link will be in the description box of this video for you to check out as well. So, the first thing that we can do to trust the divine and manifest your reality into existence is to understand that trusting the divine is not a logical thing. It's not a logical, intellectual thing. It's a very intuitive, non-logical thing. So the way I like to explain it is that when you're in alignment with the divine, when you can feel that you're at a high frequency, you're going to be in what I call a non-logical knowing. It's like you know you're in alignment. You know that things are manifesting. You know that you got nothing to worry about because all your dreams are manifesting from that frequency. But it's not like your mind is telling you that. Maybe it does, because when you're at a high frequency, your thoughts are a lot better, but it's not a logical thing you're depending on. You're trusting in the energy of the divine. And the divine energy is everything. It really is everything. The divine is the high energies, the middle energies, if that's a thing, and the low end. It's everything. It's everything all at once, interconnected. But you can get closer to the frequency of abundance. You can be more in alignment with the formless dimension within you that automatically does bring your frequency to a higher level because you're more connected to the source, right? The divine is a word that just represents consciousness, the source. Some people might even say God. Some people might say oneness. Some people might say whatever. All words are valid. Whatever word makes you feel powerful to step into your personal power. You don't need to use the word divine. You could use universal intelligence if you want. You could use God if that's the word you want to use. But what we can understand is that the more that we're tapped into an energy of abundance, it's a non-logical knowing. It's a knowing that's so deep in your heart that you don't even need to think to know that you're connected to the divine, that you're connected and you're in the flow. Being in the flow is there's no doubt when you're in the divine energy. There's no questioning. There's no doubt about it. There's no thought in your mind that says, am I in alignment with the divine? I don't know. It's like you just feel it. And don't get me wrong, if you fall into a lower energy, that might be in alignment with the divine just as much as a higher energy. But it's a non-logical knowing, even throughout all the ups and downs. when you go through the high energies to the low energies, the more that you can be in that non-logical state of acceptance and non-resistance, you begin to live in the higher energies more, and you begin to accept when the lower energies come, which then raises your frequency even higher. It's not that lower energies don't come in your life. They do. They sometimes pop in your frequency in your field, and that's cool. That's just how it is sometimes. But you don't need to live in that space for long when you're in alignment with the divine. You learn how to manage your energy. Like you're literally getting a DNA upgrade in your system as a human being to understand how this reality works at an energetic level. Not a logical level, but a divine energy. There's a divine energy that runs this life. What makes the sun come up in the morning? What pumps your heart? What makes you breathe? People think they control their breath. Sure, you do have the choice to control your breath. But also what happens with or without your input. Become conscious of your breath right now. Don't control it, just notice it. Are you controlling that? Is breathing a doing or is it a happening? It's just a happening, right? Your breath is just happening. That's a really mind-blowing insight when we realize, like, wait a second, whether I control my breath or not, so I want to play this game of control, sure, play that illusion if you want, but notice that your breath is just happening. It's just happening. What's making that happen? That's the divine. That's the universal intelligence. The infinite probabilities just flowing through your system, and you can align with that. And this is the formless dimension of consciousness that we're all tapped into. This is the divine that is bringing creations forward through this human vessel. This human vessel is an extension of the source, and so is the things around you. And it's all interconnected. And so the more that you can tap into this non-logical state of knowing you're in alignment by feeling your way into reality, you're going to manifest your reality in a much faster way. So understand that it's a non-logical knowing. Open yourself up to the idea that you're going to be at a higher frequency when you're in meditation or doing the passion that you love, or even having a deep conversation with somebody, and be open to the experience that you are going to have this non-logical knowing that you're in alignment. Now, the second thing I want to share with you is to have very strong, unapologetic boundaries. If you feel like somebody's screwing with your energy, you don't need to apologize to protect your energy and ground yourself. This is the key to manifestation. Aligning yourself with the divine, in my experience, requires of me to have very firm boundaries. Very firm, rigid boundaries. Now, I open my heart to people when I feel the time is right, but it's always on my terms. Only when I feel like it. If I feel like joining the collective energy and I feel like joining somebody else's energy, honestly, sometimes it's not my choice, and it's just like it just comes through. The energies outside of me, so to speak, even though it's all connected, just come through into my body. But I need to not run away from the energy, but deal with the energy on my own terms by myself. Sometimes people can't be in my space if I have to process some sort of negative energy or some sort of trauma, because it's up to me to process that. It's up to me to deal with the energy that's coming up. And sometimes people being in my space really screw with my energy. It's just the case. My frequency does get a little bit screwed up when I hang out with people too much. That's just how my spirit works. That's how this vessel works. That's what I've noticed. And if you're following this channel, there's a good chance you might be the same. You might be the same. You don't know. You could be the same. Everyone's different, but you could be the same, right? You could be just like me in the sense of energy. Now, you're not going to be just like me because we're all unique individuals, but there might be some similarities. And that's why I share these things. Because so many empaths or sensitive beings, or whatever label we want to use to explain somebody that's on this journey of consciousness, sometimes don't realize how sensitive their energy is. Some people are born out of the, their mom, and they're born straight up with extremely high levels of sensitivity, all right? And they're not conscious of it. They don't realize how conscious they really are. And then that's when you have people having a very big heart, wanting to help people, wanting to let their energies be screwed up, let their boundaries be infiltrated, let their energy levels go down, because they're just so nice. Now that's beautiful. Having a heart is beautiful, but if it's at the expense of your own peace, maybe for a moment, when you really feel compassion for somebody, sure, but living there is a disservice to yourself and the other. It's a disservice to yourself and the other. If you live from that low frequency where you're too open, at least for me, maybe that could change one day. I'm learning just like you on this path. But for me personally, if I'm too open, I don't feel that serves me or the individuals around me. Because if I live from a low frequency, even totally consciously without resistance, I'm going against the higher frequency that's bringing my life to an equilibrium. And so always have boundaries. You've heard me say, it's like Francis, you've heard me, you've already said this before, you've talked about boundaries so much, but the question is, are you actually creating those boundaries? If you've heard me say it in these videos, maybe 10, 15, 20 times, maybe if you're new to this channel, you've never heard it before, maybe you've been following this channel for a couple months or maybe even the last year, and you've heard me talk about boundaries in a lot of my videos. Now, if you've heard it for the last 6 months, how much boundaries have you actually created? Because people hear me talk about it, they hear me talk about boundaries, but yet they still allow people to invade their energy. I'm not judging you for it, but it's a fact. I could talk about boundaries for hours and people will still not listen. And I can't force you to listen. You have to like I can't force somebody to listen because they need to see how much their life is getting ruined, how much their quality of life is getting diminished when their boundaries are being crossed too much. You have to see it. You have to see the dysfunction of toxicity in order to let it go. That's what it is. We need to see the dysfunction of toxicity to let it go. That's how it is. You got to see the dysfunction of your thoughts to be able to be motivated to clear your thoughts. You got to see and feel the dysfunction of that toxic narcissistic relationship to finally realize it's time to let it go. We need to see the patterns of the ego play out sometimes in order to finally get to the realization, I can't do this much longer. And you need to sometimes let your boundaries be crossed to see that you need to create more boundaries. So if you need to create boundaries, do it. Not because I told you, but because you see the toxicity of not doing it for you and the person. Because you think like, oh, Francis, so creating boundaries, I'm being self-serving now. Francis, how do I know if it's self-love or if I'm just being, egotistical and focusing on myself too much? The thing is though, if you're living from a low frequency, you're not helping anybody around you either. You're feeding into the energy of narcissistic energy. You're leaving yourself at a low energy and you're keeping that person at a low energy. You're staying stuck at that vibration. You gotta bring yourself up, let them be pissed for a little bit, and they'll come up when they're ready. That's what boundaries does. You step into your core frequency, people join that energy when they're ready. And it's not your job to control when they come. It's just you trusting in the divine. You trusting in that frequency that brings you the peace. And if your energy is lower, question that. Ask yourself, why am I feeling all this negative energy in my life? And is this the space that I really, really want to be living from? Now, the third thing that you can do to trust the divine to manifest your reality is to understand that all realities exist. This is an insight that's been hitting me recently. Can I prove this to you? No. But think about it. Every probability does exist from this present moment moving forward, does it not? Is there not an infinite amount of paths you can take from this present moment moving forward? And if we really start to analyze this, what do those probabilities depend on? If all realities exist, right? If all possibilities exist, what determines which timeline you end up being on? Let's just say for a fact, maybe you don't believe me, but let's just say you believe me right now. Let's just say that we're in total agreement that all realities exist, every single parallel reality exists, every version of you exists, the negative ones, the positive ones. What determines which path you head on? It's your energy and your frequency and your vibration and the actions you take from that energy and the thoughts that you think from that energy. This is what determines what timeline you exist on. So, understand that all realities exist. All realities exist. And the more that you can trust the divine and trust in a higher frequency, you're tuning into a reality that has a much higher probability of being the reality you prefer to live in. It's not guaranteed, because nothing in life is guaranteed. Everything in life is inherently uncertain. Your reality could fall apart right now. You don't know if you're going to live tomorrow. All right? I don't know if I'm going to live tomorrow. Now, I believe that we are spiritual beings and we are going to reincarnate, so that's there. But this vessel is limited. It's also connected to the unlimited, and you are limitless. I believe we're limitless beings that are infinite and divine, and we have more than one chance, so to speak. But this vessel still has work to do. And what I want you to open yourself up to is the fact that if you can align your energy in the right way, doors will open up. The divine will open doors for you. The divine will bring the reality you want for you. And it's not guaranteed, but it's very, very unlikely that the reality that you want to happen won't happen. And that's a double negative. That means that it's very likely to happen. If your energy is on point, if you're taking the right actions from the right energy, if you're trusting in the divine, if you have the right people that come into your life from that divine, maybe a mentor, maybe a friend, the support systems that are in alignment with your core frequency, it's so unlikely that what you want won't happen. It's going to happen. The probability is just way too high for it not to happen, because that's what a high frequency does. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that it's not guaranteed, because nothing in life is guaranteed. Even the people that go to school and take the secure route to live their life, that's not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to be in a job and to be secure for the rest of your life if you go to school and get a job. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting a job, but look what happened in the world with this whole situation that's going on. You know, all the people getting locked up in their houses and losing jobs. Okay? People thought that they were guaranteed. No, look what happened. All probabilities exist. All probabilities exist. The people that were under the impression that they were secure, that everything's going to be great because I'm taking the safe route and I'm not going to take the risk. How many people are unemployed now? All right, so this is just something to consider. Now, it's not to put fear into you. It's to empower you, to make you realize that you have the power to be in alignment with the reality that has the highest probability of you living a life of abundance and power and love and joy and peace and relationships and abundance in whatever way you want. And it happens when you align with the divine. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation, to work with me one-on-one to see if we're a good fit. If you want to be a part of the group program that's coming up in the next couple of months as well, the link will be in the description box of this video as well. Enrollment is closing soon. So if you want to be a part of the group program, definitely check the link that's in the description of this video. So as always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.